Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while. I've been out of town. We are now going to work on installing some new suspension into the 2022 Honda Navi. Since the last video, I have also wrapped the Honda Navi. I am not proud of the job, but it works. Next thing we're going to do is replace the factory suspension. Alright, so the suspension that I got for this project is the RFY. I will include a link for the suspension down below. This one I actually picked up from another YouTuber that's working on a Honda Navi, so I'll include their channel down below as well. To install the suspension on the 2022 Honda Navi, there are just two bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom, that you will remove. The top one is a 14 millimeter, the bottom one is a 12 millimeter. So you are going to need someone to hold the top for you. Alright, so that was actually fairly simple. It's just a bolt down at the bottom, bolt at the top. Again, it is a 12 millimeter down here, a 14 millimeter up here. You are going to want someone's help to hold the top up or prop it up. That way when you're removing it, the whole motorcycle doesn't collapse on itself. To adjust the preload on the suspension, you'll just need to use the tool that comes with your suspension. Put it in one of the divots and just rotate it. So I am tightening the suspension because it feels too soft. There's just so much give, and so I'm tightening it up. You first want to do the bottom set, and then the top set you will later on tighten to make sure that it doesn't come loose. There's still a lot of give in the suspension, but it's at least more firm than it was before. Before it was just even just a little pressure, like just grabbing it and pulling it, I could compress it a bit, whereas now I actually have to push down on it with my weight. One last thing I'm going to need to do for this, the top bolt fits perfectly. The bottom bolt, however, is just a little short because this opening on the RFY is wider. So the threads just barely come out the side, the other side. I'm going to go to the hardware store, grab a larger bolt. If I can figure out what size that is, I will put that up on the screen now. That way you can grab a bolt before you start. There's also a little extra wiggle room because that is wider, so I'm going to grab a washer or two as well, just to put in that space to make sure that it's not wiggling around too much. Right now it's not, and honestly the threads are just barely peeking out, and so it probably is safe to drive, but I want that extra reassurance, so I'm going to get a bolt that is just a little bit longer. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and tune in next time for our next modification.